Hello everyone, this is take 2 for the video for the analysis of paper 1, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. The last video messed up, so we go again. I started off by showing this app, Liquid Text, which I think is really going to revolutionise the way in which we revise. Just a quick snippet of how this works. Say I wanted this part of the text down here, I could select it here. And if I just pull that across there, whoa, look at that, how cool is that? Alright, so we're going to try and use this more. We'll be able to annotate it, say things about it, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to be using it today to annotate our to analyse our text. Okay, so we'll pull up from the bottom, we'll split screen, get our Google Docs up, pull that over there, and we already have the first point done for us. As I've already done this, I'm going to be typing up again what I've already done, so don't think, oh, how did I come up with that so quickly as I'm writing? I've already done it. Couple of tips. Lines 16 to 33, it was asking us for language and structure, thoughts and feelings, and I've highlighted here Miss Hale and Mr. Thornton. It's asking for 2 people, so you must talk about those 2 people in your response. If on the day of your exam or any mocks that you do that has 2 people in it or several people, make sure you talk about them. Okay, especially if the question's asking it. It was thoughts and feelings, so literally very simple. What do they think? What do they feel? First tip that I'm going to be trying to work through today is linear fashion. You can see that's highlighted. Work through the text almost line by line. Now I must add, if the doorbell goes, I'm going to have to nip off for a quick second because I can't pause the recording to get my HelloFresh delivery. If you haven't used that, make sure you do, because it's well good. So, how do I make life easier for myself? Well, I'm started off with at the beginning, and you can see here on the left hand side of your page, or your screen, sorry, line 16 is let them yell, and that's the bit I want to start with. Because why would I not? Why would I start down at the bottom, then go to the middle, then back to the top? I've seen people start in the middle, go back to the top, go to like line 25, which is down here, and then not even get to 33. So if they're asking you to work through those lines, then work through those lines. At the beginning of the text, the writer states, let them yell. The use of the exclamatory sentence indicates that Mr. Thornton is frustrated and even possibly angry at the situation, or showing us that he is vexed. So a couple of things there to talk about. Exclamatory sentence is structure. And if you want to get 6 out of 6, or maybe 5 out of 6, you've got to say what it shows. So I think most people might say it indicates that Mr. Thornton's frustrated or angry and leave it there. But you can see here where I've put and, I've added more information. And that's what you want to try and do every time. I try to say to people, come up with 2 responses for every point that you make. You can then see later on it says showing us, that's highlighted, and that's because you want to try and talk about the effect on the reader. That's what you're going to try and do. Okay, we're going to do that throughout, and I'm going to show you my kind of thought process in the hope that it helps you. Okay. So the next point, what do we say next? Remember, linear fashion. Well, I'm going to talk about Miss Hale in the second line, left hand side of the screen. The second part, he said this here. Sorry, she said that there. He said that there, she said this. I'm going to talk about that next. I'm just going to put, we then see, it's almost like I'm working through what happens in the text. We then see the thoughts and feelings of Miss Hale. When she states Don't be afraid for me. She said hastily. Now, a couple of things here. We've got the imperative language. We'll just change that to Miss Hale. And change that to states. Don't be afraid for me. Imperative language. What is imperative language? It's language that gives a command or order. And I'm going to try and just explain that. Now, instead of saying shows all the time, a fancy way of saying shows can be connotes. So what does it show? Well, it connotes that Miss Hale, because remember it's thoughts and feelings, that's what I've got to answer, is concerned for the crowd and not herself. She cares more about the people. I'm going to say what else that adds. Further showing that Miss Hale is somewhat caring, unlike Mr. Thornton. He is not caring. Okay, I'm going to get to that after. I'm going to show you how he's not caring. Do I want to mention the adverb? Do I need to mention the adverb? No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it because I don't want it to become too verbose. I don't want it to become too wordy. And I'm going to just work through the text now. What happens next? Well, I see that in lines 21 that she becomes a little bit annoyed. And I can talk about the adverb there because it says quickly. Alright. We then see her, what do we see? Her agitation. When she says to reason. That's what that's supposed to say. To reason. What kind of reason? Sorry guys, I just sorting something out there off screen. These are the distractions we will face. Never fear, we will get on with it. Now, it says to reason, which is an exclamative, and then what kind of reason? Now, that's not a rhetorical, because she wants an answer. So what do we call something that wants an answer? Can you guess it? I'll pause, I'll do that thing. Beep, beep, beep. What a nerd. It's an interrogative. So, I'm going to say that the combination of the exclamatory sentence, or the exclamative, and the interrogative, it's a fancy way of saying a question that wants an answer, what does it do? It heightens her sense of, let's call it annoyance, because I think she is getting annoyed. Remember we looked at the text, we said she gets a little bit annoyed, and I'm going to put and a little bit more, because I want to try and get as much as I can. We begin to see a growing sense of frustration. This is because last time we analysed it, we noticed that she goes from, at the start, kind of caring, and then towards the middle, she goes very angry and annoyed at him, and then at the end, she changes her opinion again, which is again something we'll get to. I'm going to keep working through it. In the next paragraph, Mr. Thornton says, I hope this video don't cut out again, guys. Wild beasts. He calls them wild beasts. Remember we talked about that. I'm going to say the use of the phrase wild beasts, not wild beats, has, now the most important word I think you should be using in 19th century analysis is connotations, words, thoughts or feelings that link to another word. And I really think that using connotations, one, it's easy to do, and two, it gives you an explanation. Now, what do we link to the word wild beasts? I've done it again there, wild beats. He ain't got no wild beats on him. I think it's got connotations of predators. Now, again, if I just left it there, I'm not really getting into what it shows. I'm just saying that it does have connotations of predators, but was it sure about Mr. Thornton's views on them? Well, we are able to see just how little he thinks of them. He compares them to animals. He doesn't even care. And I'm just going to now look to end my points. I want to get now, look, I've done the beginning. I would say that's kind of the middle, wild beasts over here. Therefore, this whole big paragraph here underneath Mr. Thornton and towards the end, I want to summarise now. Again, constantly trying to say what it shows about the thoughts and feelings and what it shows to us as the reader. We then see a change in both characters. This is obvious. Remember we said Miss Hale states what she says, face them like a man. What does that show? Well, we've got a simile first of all. I'm going to say the use of the simile shows, what does it show? Shows us that she wants him to take charge. And then immediately we see Mr. Thornton, getting sick of typing that now, Thornton's reaction when it states, a dark cloud came over his face. What is that? We said last time it's a metaphor, so we're going to say the use of the metaphor. I've now commented on language and structure, so I'm safe. I won't be capped at 2 marks. Now, a few people like to put this word emphasises. Now, that's a great word to use, and we'll use it after, but I want us to start using some fancy ways of saying what it does. And I've got 2 words here. One could be that it embellishes, as in makes it bigger than it actually is, or accentuates, which is a fancy way of saying stresses or emphasise. A fancy way of saying shows. So the use of the metaphor embellishes and accentuates. What does it show? Come on, we know this. If a dark cloud came over his face, it's his anger. Most students will stop there. It just shows anger. But add the conjunction and try and get more out of it. You ever heard this word? He has become emasculated, as in his masculinity has been called to question. I'm not even going to stop there. Now I can use emphasised. It's emphasised by the short sentence. That anger's emphasised by the short sentence because it's so blunt, that short sentence. When he says, I will go. Ooh, he's not happy. Alright. What does it do? I'm just trying to put the reader in there as much as I can. What does it allow us to do? It allows the reader to understand his vexation. We used vexed earlier up here. It's okay, same thing. He is annoyed. There's no way of getting around that. Some people would stop there. Why? Why would you stop there? It said 16 to 33. I must now get to the bottom of the paragraph. So I'm going to, like I started with at the beginning, I'm now going to end with finally. And I'm just going to talk about how we see a shift in Miss Hale's character, because it's her thoughts and feelings. when she says, it's a bit of a hard one to type out this, lots of punctuation in it, lots of exclamatives. Oh, Mr. Thornton, I do not know, I may be wrong, only this allows the reader to understand that she's... What does it allow us to understand? Well, remember when we analysed it, she's gone from caring to annoyed to now she goes, oh, no, I don't know. Okay, so to me that shows that she's not very sure of her decision or her actions, and it reflects the idea that both characters don't really know how to handle the ongoing drama. So I think I hear a door closing. That could be my Hello Fresh. Hopefully this has been useful to you. The whole answers there to look at. Would I give it out 6 out of 6? Of course I would. I spoke about language. I've spoke about structure. I haven't just stopped at what it shows. I've tried to give 2 responses. I'd like in the future when you ever go to a mock or any texting class to try and work through this process. A linear fashion, language and structure, what it shows. I've been Jack, you've been brilliant. Ciao, ciao for now.